one I dream of.
You're still the one I want for life. You're still the one. Still the one that I love.
Water.
Woo, girl. You hydrated?
Need some water.
You need some water?
I have some.
He needs some
I
milk.
have some, but I also need it. Oh, what's that? Who designs these fucking things?
My God.
Still getting good? Still getting, is this close enough?
Yeah, you're fine, baby.
Tip of the tongue, teeth, and lips.
Yeah. J.K. Rowling is problematic. That's
The
my new
Human
vocal warm-up.
Torch was denied a bank loan.
J.K. Rowling is a turf.
The arsonist had oddly shaped feet. My whole thing is I can't hear you that well.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
You're way over there.
No, you're going to be okay. It's just us down here.
Us and two fat babies.
Yeah. Two fat kittens.
Two fat kittens.
Two
Fat kittens.
Guys, speaking of which, welcome back to Jacob V Weekly. We like to start by inviting you to check out Catty Shack of New Hamel, Illinois, an independent family-operated cat rescue.
Rescue the cats.
100% of every dollar you send to them actively and immediately helps rescue and treat and adopt out and feed and clothe and educate stray kittens that are rescued in the southern Illinois area. I don't like a lot of things about Illinois, but I like Catty Shack. I trust them. You may have seen them in the Pride Parade this past weekend here in St. Louis. And we're grateful for that.
Were you on the float?
No, I got too busy.
Well,
I know.
that makes you busy and a liar.
Yeah, I mean, no, it was crazy. I had, service that morning, and I had all kinds of stuff going
Oh,
on.
service.
I was serving.
Oh.
I was serving in the armed forces.
Wait, speaking of service, what does serving up cunt mean? What does that mean?
Oh, no.
No, it's a new saying, and it's
No,
like
yeah,
people are
but you don't
saying
have to say the last part of it.
But like, what does it mean?
So that use of the C word in the drag community is designed to invoke like ultimate fierce femininity. I think it's like if you're serving that means that's what you're offering your audience.
Serving it up.
You're serving them up.
Serving up that C word.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I hate editing things. And there's just so much to keep up with. We did not want to fall behind on our rotation here. Caddyshack New Hamel, Illinois has a tab on my website, jacobv.com, JACOBVI.com. The only way to support this show financially is patreon.com/JacobV. You get exclusive content there every week. And those dollars go towards keeping this show operating, which is hard to do. We are a budget production, and sometimes it's still an if.
Tell them about that content.
Which one?
The content. A broad summary.
Oh, on the Patreon?
Yes.
Yeah, we get live show recordings. We get lossless master quality audio of all of my original music, sneak peeks at new original music that's coming up. Micropods is something we've been doing, which is a short podcast between 90 seconds and 12 minutes, anywhere in there, and they're not clips from the show. They are exclusive conversations. And for the Pride stream number 3 we did last week, we had like 11 minutes of extra episode at the end that was Patreon exclusive. And we may have that same situation today. If we don't run out of time, once the hour's over, we'll kill the live stream. And if we're talking, we're talking. You know what I mean?
Do be talking.
Baby brother is here. I don't have your camera set up either. I had
Baby brother.
I brought tons of gear to my Jacob V and the Yes Men show on Saturday, and I didn't use a couple of things, so it's like I could have just left them where they were.
Well, you could have.
Yep. That was a great time. Thank you for all of those that came out. Bluewood Brewing, Jacob V and the Yes Men. I have to pick up my my shield from there.
Oh, it's still there?
Yeah,
The acrylic shield?
I haven't been back.
You might just want to leave it in case people start throwing beers at you.
Well, that's the thing. That's what it makes people think of, right?
Like the chicken wire in Blues Brothers?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yes.
the energy it invokes. Man, thank God I had it. Can you imagine how loud those drums would have been without it?
Oh, man, you were attempting to blow the roof off the joint. Luckily, it's a really tall roof. Know what I mean?
Can you say that again?
You were attempting to blow the roof off that joint. Luckily, it was a tall roof.
Yeah.
The roof was tall.
Oh yeah, it's a nice place in there.
Mm-hmm. Nice high ceilings.
Yeah, good high. If you like a high ceiling and a ghost,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going to have a ghost, I want a high ceiling.
I like a ghost or two.
That's what I've always said.
I'll have a couple.
Yeah, there's a lavender lady up in
Yeah,
there.
I always reserve room for ghost.
Yeah, we're going to that. I officially got tickets.
And so are Danielle and I.
Well, that's why I was telling you because I know
We
you're
are
going to be
going
there.
to the ghost show.
Last time you and I talked about it, I had not yet gotten tickets.
August 12th at the Hollywood Amphitheater. Hollywood Casino Amphitheater.
Hollywood Casino.
I forgot to say the
Amphitheater.
casino part. There's a casino there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Oh Lord Jesus.
And then the day after that, I'm going on a camping and float trip. It's a busy weekend.
Correct.
Well, you didn't know about that part until I just told you.
No, I did not. Are you floating? Who are you floating with?
Oh, some friends.
Oh, okay. Not the float that we talked about earlier that you're not going on.
No, not that one. That's in July.
Do people not know that term abroad?
What, float?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that floating exists in some areas because
right.
there's
And like
so
in
many
fucking
places
Arizona,
that have,
I know they don't have float trips, but I mean,
there's so many places that don't have.
there's
so
even
many
places that have rivers that don't have float trips.
steady, calm rivers.
I don't know if any of our rivers are calm.
I think there are plenty of states where there's not an opportunity to just drag the ass of a raft on the bottom of the river
Yeah.
for hours on end
Yeah.
and get wasted on whatever you decide to bring. You know? There's even communities that rivers run through that aren't so poor that they have state troopers sitting on the side just waiting for someone
Well,
to
that's
fuck
the
up.
thing. That's the thing that drives me crazy is the predatory traffic enforcement.
I know. I got popped with some ganj back in 2018.
You got popped with ganj?
I got popped with ganj.
He got
on a
popped with the
river.
ganj.
They were sitting there with binoculars watching us when we sparked
Oh.
up a doober.
Well, I don't support that.
We sparked up a doober on the river and I was so high when they caught us. I was so high.
Oh, that's the worst.
I just couldn't I was just being goofy and I was like, "Whoa, if we're already fucked." And I went and got a beer out of the cooler. And then I thought, "You know what? This isn't over." So I tried to flirt my way out of it, but those fellas were clearly not into it.
They weren't into you flirting with them?
No, but
shocked.
some of the people that we were floating with thought it was hilarious. So we did have that.
There were men?
Which ones?
The cops. That you
Oh,
were-
yeah.
That's good.
Oh yeah.
I like that a lot.
I think that's also why it didn't work out.
Yeah, it must be. What about you're too big to move with your own volition around the police. I told you this when you got in trouble at Timberlake in high school.
Well, when I got that
You were
DUI,
too big to make any unauthorized movements.
When I got that
if
DUI,
I was a little bitty
ugh.
cop, I would shoot the fuck out of you.
when I got that DUI when I was 19, both the cops were under 5'10", and I was probably 6'3", 6'4" at the time. Mm-hmm. And
You're still growing.
no, God, no, I'm not. I'm shrinking because my joints are compressing.
Is that true?
I think so.
And
I
did you
think
read that somewhere, or are you just thinking that's what it feels like?
Eventually, I'm going to be like that
It
one
feels
guy
like
from the
joint
Temptations.
compression.
I'm going to have no cartilage left in my legs. I'm going to have to walk like that one guy from Family Guy that has pegs for arms and legs. I'm going to have to walk like that guy. And that's that's what I'm going to have to deal with. I mean, look at our father.
So can you recap this for me? So you're on a float trip. How old are you?
That was 2018, so 5 years ago. What was I, like 27?
Is this too recent to talk about?
No.
And
I got it handled by a lawyer. It was all figured out.
Good. If you need a lawyer, call Alfred Ludwig at Lewis and Rice.
With all of your law needs.
Not a sponsor. He's the guy I know and trust, and he's so handsome. He played with us Saturday,
Even though
and
he does
his kids were there
copyright
for the
law.
first half, and then as soon as his kids left, we started playing better. And I think it's coincidental.
Are you
but
sure?
I wish they had
You sure
caught the
about
other
that?
half of the set.
Are you sure about that?
I'm not sure about anything.
Okay.
I don't know. Did that feel like a successful event to you?
You know what? It felt like an event. That's for sure.
Well, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
Speaking of events, No Antics. Next Saturday, July 8th, giant LP release at Off Broadway. Very exciting stuff. If you keep up with us on Instagram or TikTok, you will see there is a giveaway happening. You can win $100 out of our new merch line. You will win one of each of the new shirts in your size, a skateboard deck that is super, super limited, and those will go for at least half of that price on their own before we sell out, which we definitely will sell out almost immediately of those.
Am I on the list, or do I got to buy a ticket?
Well, if you want to enter the giveaway, the way to enter the giveaway is to buy your ticket ahead of time and include a screenshot of that, and that you pre-save the album on Spotify and send those both to us on Instagram.
I don't really care about that. I just want to get in without paying money.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to let that happen. I'm in charge of all the money that evening, and if it was up to me, everybody would pay.
How much is a ticket?
I have no idea.
Okay, so you're not willing to just throw me a few bucks in the form of a ticket?
Listen, will you do your part?
I just feel like I do a lot for you, and I
do
feel
owe
like,
you lunch. We
feel
just
like
had lunch together. It's
I
a
bought you
lovely-
lunch twice now, you bastard.
Yeah, well, I definitely owe you for this.
And the
one.
last time I didn't even want the tandoori wings.
They were good though.
They were,
They were really nice.
but I didn't even want them. I ate them.
Good.
Just saying. I had a good time getting lunch with you today.
So you're on a float trip. You're 27 years old.
Roughly.
You're drinking beers, Busch Light,
Probably.
and you're smoking some ganj.
Well, someone had a doob.
Someone had a doob.
Someone brought a doob, and then we all
Well,
smoked it.
If someone has a doob, that means you have to doob.
We all roasted the bone on a beach, and that wasn't a beach. It was a rock cluster.
You're roasting bones?
Roasting a bone. We roasted a bone on the beach. Bone
A
got
bong
roasted.
and a blitz?
And so the state troopers were sitting on a bridge downriver, watching us roast said bone, and then they went down to the next like sandbar thing down, more like rock bar, and they walked out there in their boots and their pants. They walked out to like knee height, and they grabbed our shit, and they grabbed our rafts and started pulling us over. And everyone was like, "Oh no!" And I was just kind of like, "There's no way. Like, there's no way. We don't have to let this ruin anything." And then so I literally told one of the state troopers, I was just kind of like, "Hey, listen, if you're already busting us for something, I'm gonna get a beer." And I walked over to the raft, and I got a beer.
And then he tased you in the ass.
Nope, no, they were laughing at me too by the end of it because I was just being goofy.
But did they take you in?
No, they just gave us tickets.
They pulled your rafts in. See, if you're going to put your fucking hands on my raft, I want you to take me to prison. I want you. You better kill me, motherfucker. You know what? I'm not going to stand for it.
They were very nice.
If he
actually. They
came
were
out
polite
in the
and
water,
professional.
ruined his pants, and put his hands on my raft, he better cuff me.
I hope he got gangrene.
Who?
The cop that was in the water with his boots.
You know that we're on a podcast, right? You can't just say anything you want to say.
I just said that I hope he got gangrene. What does that mean?
Oh, gangrene.
What do you think I said?
I thought you said gang R word.
No.
This is why we need headphones.
No.
We're trying a headphoneless episode, and it's not going great. 'Cause I thought-
Goodness gracious.
yeah, make sure you're being loud and clear.
I
for the
am.
audience.
And I'm betting people in the microphone can hear me, but we don't have headphones because you decided to take all that shit to Bluewood.
I gave you every opportunity to not do
All
this.
that shit.
I gave you every opportunity to not be here right now. I said, we don't have to.
But I told you I wanted to pot on Wednesday.
Wednesday's kind of a good day.
Wednesday's a good day. Wednesday's my busiest day of the week, you know.
What are you doing after this?
I still got to go to the gym. And then I have to go support a friend's food pop-up at Bootleg and Bob's on Morganford.
They're doing a food pop-up at the Bob's?
Uh-huh. And then I have
What are
to
they
go
popping
meet
up?
with my lovely fiance, huh?
What are they popping up?
Food.
Which? Tacos?
Maybe.
Banh mi?
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see if they're carving out some baguettes.
You have no idea what the food pop-up is? It's your friend's food pop-up, and you don't know what kind of food your friend makes?
He's more of a friend, but I like him as a person.
But you don't know what kind of chef he is.
So I want to support his.
Let's
his passions.
imagine. Let's describe the most interesting thing it could be, and let's just pretend it's going to be that.
Okay, so there's going to be.
I'm thinking like Korean Sicilian fusion.
Maybe not the Sicilian. I think it's Laotian.
Oh, it's all Laotian? No, I want fusion.
I think it's Laotian.
I'll do like
I think it's like
Laotian-
Laotian barbecue fusion.
Laotian barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Laotian barbecue is cool.
Yes.
Laos. They
Laos.
have
Yeah.
Laos. They have like cilantro and limes and shit, don't
Yes, they do.
they? But they also have like, Asian foods.
I think Laos is in Asia.
Right.
So
But it also has some
that makes
ingredients
sense.
we associate with like other things.
Well, you know what? That's likely.
So that's nice.
Mhm.
Like Thai food.
I love me some good Thai
I
food.
loved it. My wife doesn't like Thai. She doesn't like lemongrass.
And there's a lot of that going on.
There's a lot of lemongrass in the Thai.
My whole problem is, do you know how much yellow curry stains Tupperware?
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Did you know that's Tupperware, not Tubber?
Yeah, I knew that too.
I always thought it was Tubber because it was a tub.
No, it's Tupper.
Well, that person missed the boat.
Yeah,
they missed a golden opportunity.
They first patented what they called the burping seal, which was a way for you to force that last little bit of air out of the container while you're.
I thought you were
closing
talking about one of those fat seals at like an
a
aquatic
sea
center,
lion.
like one of those ones.
Yeah.
You throw it a fish
What's
and
he
then it burps
sound
at
like?
you.
How? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
helpful for me.
That's a burping seal.
That's a burping seal. Well, that's
Yeah.
I was offended by the terminology when I heard it.
I mean, it sounds like it's a term for something that's not actually a seal.
July
or burp.
8th, off Broadway, No Antics, giveaway on Instagram, exclusive. Get on there. Figure that out. Blinded by Stereo is still hard at work on new music. We have a vinyl LP out there you can order on Bandcamp from Blinded by Stereo. Matt will mail it to you personally. It's very good. It's one of the best things I've ever done.
We're there.
Yes.
I'll be there.
That's the main stuff I have going on.
With-
You'll see me playing a lot of music this summer. Stay
Bells
tuned. I try to post as many of those sets as I can on the Patreon.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a great way for me to keep connected. Executive producer Neil Wolf will be on the show soon. He is currently in first place.
Is that the guy from Law and Order?
No, see, that's James Wolf. Neil
I thought
Wolf.
it was Dick Wolf.
No, Dick Wolf. Neil
Who's James Wolf?
James is Dick's brother. But Neil,
okay.
no relation. Neil Wolf is a good friend of mine and now a good friend of the show. He's a top supporter on Patreon, and he requested to come on. And I said, of course. Are you kidding? Absolutely. He plays drums. He's left-handed. He drives the oldest Toyota I've ever seen. And he's a Patreon member. So join the party, patreon.com/Jacob V. Bug, we have not talked about any of the biggest news of the day.
Was that?
Ocean Gate.
Oh, I'd love to talk about Ocean Gate, but also, as long as you're talking about people that you want to bring on the podcast, I have a good friend who's a local artist that would love to come on the podcast as well, but we could talk about that later.
Yeah, you could have mentioned that at lunch.
We could have. There was a lot of time where we weren't talking.
Yeah, you
were
could
just
have
sitting.
brought this up then.
There's a good
Let's
friend of mine.
take that
who's an
one
artist.
again. Bug, have you heard about Ocean Gate?
Ocean Gate.
Oh my God.
Are you talking about the subnautical device that carried
the
five rich people?
submersible
Yes.
carbon fiber casket
Do you know why it's called a submersible and not submarine?
because it doesn't do anything.
No, it's because it didn't come up to any codes for anything ever. You might as well have duct taped the ends, the two ends of a toilet paper roll and thrown it in the ocean with a weight in it and seen what happened.
Really?
Yeah. That's why it had to be called a submersible and not a submarine, even though it kind of was doing all the things a submarine's supposed to do, like being controlled by a Logitech
It's like a
PlayStation
49cc
controller.
scooter. Like it's just barely.
It's doing this. As it's going through the water.
Yeah.
That's what it's doing. I don't even know what that sounded like.
Well,
in the
my
mic.
thing that I've been telling all the children at school this week is that when carbon fiber fails, it fails catastrophically.
But did you not also know that they died so quickly due to the implosion that they probably didn't have time to register?
Yeah,
in their
everyone
brains?
is like morbidly jealous of that.
30 milliseconds.
Their brains wouldn't have had time to process what was happening because the pressure was so great.
They were
and
reduced-
Carbon fiber is brittle.
They
and
were reduced to
yeah.
jelly on the ocean floor.
Well, and that's, you know what? So shall we all.
But did you also know that they found the Logitech PlayStation controller fully intact?
Well, yeah, because it's made out of BPAs.
Exactly. So that's how it survived. On the ocean floor, as the people in the submersible
you
were
scoot to your
reduced
left?
to jelly. Is this better?
Why don't you scoot to your left?
I just did.
No, you didn't.
I got a cat on me.
Okay, never
I got a
mind.
30-pound
I'm just trying to
cat
get
on.
you in the frame because the people love you and they love to see your beautiful face.
I'll scoot over. Hold on. I'm scooting. Hold on. I'm scooting. Am I still here? Am I in it now?
Well, I don't even know. Yeah. See, that's what I was looking for.
Hi.
Yeah. See, you're back.
I'm so back.
My thing is, didn't the CEO die on the expedition himself too?
Yeah, but he's really the winner in the end because he can't get sued.
Well, that's the thing. If that's what's going to happen, might as well.
Not only all that shit, which we have all seen a billion cajillion TikToks about, because specifically the media was being told not to let us see anything about the collusions between China and Russia that happened recently before all that other stuff happened that made Putin go into hiding. But hold on.
What? I don't know any of that.
So the submersible stuff didn't happen on purpose, obviously, but the convenience of it being available and ready on the media was able to let everyone who controls said media push all that forward so that we didn't notice what was behind that veil that they created with the Ocean Gate crisis, and that is that what's his name, Xi Jinping. And Vladimir Putin signed at least 14 documents with the direct intent of creating a monetization that would basically destabilize the U.S. dollar.
Well, why?
To fuck over the U.S. for good reason. I mean, the
but
government
their currencies
sucks.
are already fucked because they're both in a population crisis. So why would that actually work?
I think that just the bringing together of two broken nations to overpower another broken nation sounds like a good idea for people that like being catty and shitty.
It just sounds like a good idea for people that like to launch missiles.
I love launching me a good missile, but I hope that we don't get any.
If I had a missile, girl.
I just worry that what if it just happens? What if one day a nuclear missile just lands in the Midwest here? And they're thinking, let's just do one there, and then we'll get the big cities.
That'd be a real waste.
It would send a message. It would send a message.
I don't think it would send the right message. I think they'd be like, man, they were mad at that corn.
Also, for the purpose of any government representatives that might be listening in on this podcast for some stupid reason, I don't like launching missiles. I never had the opportunity.
You don't have the authority.
I could make one.
We should make a potato gun.
I did that once.
Yeah.
We used hairspray.
And PVC pipe.
Yep. Launched that fucker at least 40 yards.
Really?
Maybe
yards?
50 yards.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. We launched it at least 5 Hummer H2s, which because we can't use the metric system here. I was thinking about something else, though, before we got into that. Potato guns are fun. The thing though is I don't know if you want to go through the process because you got to use that solvent sealant thing that gets all over your hands. You probably would hate that.
Yeah, I don't like sealants.
It would probably be me doing all of it and you just kind of like spectating and commenting.
Yeah, I would bitch.
Yeah,
the whole time.
Like when you ran out of gas last week and
thanks for that again.
And then I went and I hung out with some friends of mine and we watched Tiptoes from 2003.
That's real?
Yeah, it's real, and it's real bad. There was several
Gary
moments.
Oldman?
We took breaks because the movie was so much in 90 minutes that we had to take breaks. It took 3 hours to watch a 90-minute movie.
Because you had to take breaks?
Because we had to take breaks.
Yikes.
Do you know what happened? Minutes? Do you know what happened with that movie and why it was so fucking horrible? Well, hold on. One, you should probably just put the trailer link from YouTube onto your Patreon or your Instagram or something so people can watch it. Because the trailer lets you think that it's just Matthew McConaughey and Kate Beckinsale, and Matthew McConaughey's family are all dwarves, and he's the only one who's not. And then she gets pregnant, and then she's worried that she's going to have a dwarf baby. But it all seems kind of lighthearted and fun, and love us because we're small. Peter Dinklage has a French accent. So the trailer misleads you into thinking that it's just like kind of like a feel-good, goofy kind of rom-com in a way, and instead, it's a dumpster fire of drama and sadness. And then I found out that the creator wrote the script when he was 18 years old, made the movie through and through, fully edited. He turned in his edited copy, his directorial cut, and they fired him on the spot. And then they had some other people come in and re-edit it. They cut an hour out of the movie.
I would love to see that hour.
And so nothing about the movie makes any fucking sense because they cut a full hour out of the movie.
Can you imagine how crazy that hour must have been?
And also I watched an interview with Gary Oldman, and he was so prepared for his role to be a dwarf. There's a moment where he's running away from something, and it's literally like something out of the Muppets. Like, it's just a puppet. Like, he turns, and then they cut, and then they have a puppet where he was, and it just kind of runs off and around a corner.
I love that.
It's rough. But, like, so I want to see that 2.5 hour version because I want to know what we're missing. Peter Dinklage said he saw it and said it was beautiful.
Wow.
Instead,
he saw the full cut?
He saw the full director's cut, yes. And what we saw was just about as bad as the Holocaust. It was that bad. I almost had to turn it off. It wasn't as bad as the Holocaust. I can't say that. I'm sorry.
I was about to say, man, you're on one.
I want to make it a public apology on that
out?
one. I'm sorry. It's been
like,
it's been a really weird
You've
week.
been watching a lot of Roseanne lately?
It's been a really weird week.
And, so that all makes sense then?
What?
Because the week has been weird?
The week's been weird.
I don't look good.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Is it the plastic pearls?
No, I like my pearls.
Well, they're plastic.
But that's why I like them. Because I can wear them anywhere.
That you can.
It's the new thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
And do you think that we're in the now? We're the it crowd.
We're
hip.
Been.
Huh?
I've always have been.
You think you're hip right now?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That's good.
Me?
I'm glad you have that moment. I feel like I'm living under a rock half the time.
Yeah.
That's why I have to lie on your podcast.
At the same time the Ocean Gate crisis was happening, apparently a boat of 750 migrants sank near Greece.
750 what?
Migrants.
They were refugees.
Right.
Yes.
The headline I pulled said migrants.
And the ship was overloaded, and no one really went to their aid.
No, fuck them.
That's unfortunate. Also, did you know that even though Ocean Gate has happened, another large corporation is offering to fly you into
a volcano
space, basically, for $450,000.
That sounds like a deal.
Yeah,
I know some people will take them up on that.
Mm-hmm. On a ship / airplane thing that's meant to go up.
It's
like
a space plane. It orbits the Earth.
It's a splane.
What it does is it enters the orbit,
and that's what they're going to
completely leave.
But if we can't even get 5 rich motherfuckers to the bottom of the ocean...
Well, you know what? I think getting into orbit in a plane is easier than getting 6 miles below the surface of the ocean.
Well, yeah, they said it was like 111,000 pounds of pressure per square inch or something like that at that depth. So, yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
I can't remember. That's don't quote me on that figure, but a lot of pressure.
1 dead, 10 wounded at a teen party shooting in downtown St. Louis office building. Turns out it was an Airbnb.
That's unfortunate. Wait a minute. The migrants, the refugees.
Yeah.
So what really happened there? Just no one felt like going to help them? Where were they migrating from?
Yeah.
Where were they migrating to?
Yeah.
Nothing?
I thought they were going to Greece.
It also got no media coverage because we were too focused on the Ocean Gate.
Well, yeah.
Gate.
There used to be a search feature in here. These people.
You got to have your shit together. I was late to this, which means you had more than enough time to prepare. When I got in, you were getting ice.
An estimated 350 Pakistanis were on a fishing boat packed with hundreds of migrants that capsized off southern Greece on June 14th and few were found alive.
That's unfortunate.
Oh my God.
They were just trying to seek, safe passage to a new life somewhere.
Yeah. A lot of the migrants were Pakistani, I keep seeing.
And then so many efforts were put into finding these 5 dumbasses.
And that's the thing. And 5 people that signed a waiver, waiving liability for anything that should go wrong. Meanwhile,
ran by
refugees don't have
ran by a company.
Refugees are not picky about the conditions of the boat you put them on.
True.
Somebody has to protect them. Somebody has to worry about the boat for them because they're fleeing violence and persecution and poverty and famine and war.
Meanwhile, the Ocean Gate company was firing anybody who was talking against their idea.
You better not say nothing about my submersible.
And that's what they were doing. They literally
keep my submersible's name.
People were like, "This is
your mouth.
Unsafe." And it brought up to no codes, and they were like, "Well, you're fired, so fuck you." That's what they did.
Yeah.
And now some of them are dead, so that's a whole thing.
That's very interesting.
The light fixture in the submersible was from a camping store.
Which one though?
I don't know. The guy, it was like Camp Life or something. I saw the walkthrough of the vessel.
You think it was Salt Life?
He's like, "Look at that light right there. Look at that light," and he flicked it, and he was like, "I got that at Camp Life," or whatever the fuck he said.
That's not great.
But still, that's horrible about the
Well,
fishing
and you know
boat.
what's so interesting too is because you make those little choices about the features you put inside the vessel if you're confident that the vessel itself is viable.
Yeah, I don't really give a shit.
But the problem with the vessel was not the shitty light or the shitty game controller. It was the carbon fiber hull itself.
Or the fact that they bolted it closed from the outside.
That
So
wouldn't
even
have
if
helped
they-
them.
Even if they did get to the surface, they wouldn't have been able to open it.
No, but that wasn't even an option. I
I
don't
think that this was all rigged from the jump
Why though? Why would the CEO put himself in there?
because they're fucking stupid.
So do you think that was a mistake for him to be in there, but he meant for it to collapse?
I don't know. It kind of reminds me of the movie Don't Look Up. Have you seen Don't Look Up?
Yeah, it's a lot like that.
It's just that level of stupidity and like just blind confidence that something's going to work even though it won't. And then you get to go through with that. And then all this other bad shit's happening and we're just focusing on that. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
But that's just what. But you know what? I'm glad. I'm glad those fuckers died, except for the stepson or the son or whatever. The child, the young adult that was in there with them, literally only went because it was Father's
No, the
Day or something.
stepson was the kid that went to Blink-182.
Right, the stepson went to Blink
The
182.
actual son was the 19-year-old on board.
The actual son, he probably didn't deserve that. He just went because
He
got
probably
guilted
didn't
into
even
it.
really want to go.
No, he said I think it was because it was Father's Day. And it was like his gift. He was like, okay, I'll go because of Father's Day, whatever. And now he's dead. But also, that's hearsay. There's no real evidence to back that up. But I got an idea here now that we're talking about it. Let's just kill more rich people.
Well, that's the problem is because they're kind of in control of the resources.
But like, do you know how Wagyu is? Like how they really just kind of take really good fucking care of that cow before they kill it.
Yeah.
And then the beef is delicious. So don't you think that rich people that just pamper themselves constantly and do dumb shit just because they can with their money, don't you think that their meat is probably delicious?
No, a lot of them are too old. You don't want to eat an animal that's that old.
Oh, so it's rich and dry aged is what you're saying.
yeah, it's pre-aged.
Pre-aged.
But like if you you don't want to eat a cow that's 5 years old.
Just cut the tumors out of it and I'll eat it.
no.
I'll do it.
Like hogs, I don't even think hogs are 18 months old when
I'll
they kill
suck
them.
the gristle.
Wow.
I'll do it.
You see Cedric the Entertainer lately?
No, I've been keeping an eye out
Yeah.
because him and I just run into each other on the red.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Getting sandwiches. Wouldn't it
did-
be funny if he got addicted to the pork steak burger?
I did see Tom Hanks at Costco getting gas the other day.
Was Tom Hanks?
Yeah. He was with Colin. I don't know what they were doing in St. Louis, but I saw him
Colin
getting
Hanks?
gas.
What's the one that
Don't
talks,
you think if I was getting gasoline
What's the one
at a
that
Costco-
raps though? Isn't
Hold
there
on.
one that raps?
Hold on. I don't know the name of that one. It's like Kyle or Kurt or something.
Chet.
Chet. That is it. It's Chet.
Is it Chet Hanks?
It's Chet Hanks.
He like raps, I think.
And you know what? He looks like a Chet. And then Colin looks like a Colin.
Yeah, Colin definitely looks like a Colin.
I remember being a fan of knowing that Colin Hanks was Tom Hanks' son back in like Orange County days.
Like the only thing I can think of him from.
Well, he was also in Fargo season 1.
Wasn't he
He's
in
been in a lot of movies.
Wasn't he in The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see my favorite movie about World War II?
I told you to get tiptoes and watch it so we can
The
talk
Man
about it
Who
on this
Killed
podcast if you
Hitler
did.
and Then the Bigfoot?
You don't get to shame me for not seeing that movie when you haven't seen Tiptoes. When we talked about it a week ago.
I didn't know you could get a copy of Tiptoes.
Last Thursday, I told you can buy a copy of it for $4 and watch it. And
we
we
should
can talk
do a
about
watch
it.
along for the Patreon.
No one wants to do that.
You and me.
You will lose subscribers if we do that.
No, they don't have to watch it. It's Patreon. It's optional.
It's so bad. I can't do it again. I definitely can't do it sober
I would never ask you to do that sober.
because it's a lot.
It's too much. You're a young man.
Patricia Arquette's in it.
Who?
Patricia Arquette.
Which one's that?
She's Patricia Arquette.
But which Arquette is that?
She's an actress,
No,
name's
honey,
Patricia.
they're all actresses.
and she's from the Arquette family. You looking her up?
Apparently, Dick Wolf is Neil's father.
What?
Yeah.
You found that out?
Yep.
Is that real? You making that up?
Yeah, I bet that's real.
Who's James Wolfe? Dick's brother. You already said it. Also fictional.
Yeah. What's ROS stand for?
Ross. Return of Sasquatch.
Return of Sasquatch.
Ripples of Sputnik.
I would be in a band called that.
We are Ripples of Sputnik.
We are Ripples of Sputnik. Jesus. Did you know that there's a correlation between having blue eyes and developing alcohol dependency?
Well, that explains why you quit drinking and I'm still drinking. I have beautiful hazels.
Yeah, but you have lovely honey brown eyes.
They glisten.
You're just so handsome.
They glisten in the sun like a Twilight vampire.
This is becoming a trend. Orville Peck is postponing the rest of his tour, as I just read is Louis Capaldi, after a challenging Glastonbury set, is going to suspend live performances, at least temporarily.
Why is that?
Louis Capaldi has like Tourette syndrome, I think. And touring is just really hard for him. It's hard for him to sing when he's traveling. And
what does that have to do with Orville Peck?
Orville Peck, I don't know what Orville Peck's thing is, but he has to just postpone some tour dates because he needs some personal mental health time.
That's fair. I'm a fan of his. I just haven't really heard anything from him since like 2019.
I thought he was just getting started then. Who knows? I like Orville Peck a lot. I hope he's okay. Did you see they're bringing back the Furby?
They really shouldn't.
I don't think it's a good idea. I don't know when these people are going to learn. You're going to bring back Furbies during the rise of AI.
Yeah,
you're going to in the time of the Patriot Act, you're going to let a camera on a monster into my baby's home.
Do you remember when we had the Furby and it was fucked up and it kept just saying stuff randomly and you didn't have to be in the same room as it and it would just start saying stuff?
Yeah.
And I would be trying to sleep at night and for some reason it got put in my room. And then I threw it down the steps one day.
As you do.
And then it was like, for a good while until we hit the reset button.
I remember that for sure. That I
mean, we did drop it down the steps many a times.
Well, I mean, we wanted it to die already.
If it were a human baby,
it's like, can I just get a Build-A-Bear? Why do I need... Why is this Build-A-Bear wearing a wire?
There's a good chance they put that thing in him.
They had that camera on his face.
They say it's the heart, but it's not the heart. It's actually a transponder.
It's a transmitter. It's a transducible.
Yes.
It's a
transmission. It has 4 speeds.
Yeah, you got to downshift the Kirby.
It's a Furby.
The Furby. The Kirby Furby. They should do a Kirby Furby.
Together.
Oh, a Kirby Furby. They should do a Build-A-Bear Furby where it's like just a Terminator-looking skeleton and then you put all the stuff on it.
Then it'll definitely kill you.
Yeah, if it's just like a Terminator skull and then you just dress it up like a Furby, don't take that home.
Have you not seen that trend?
Leave that one at the mall.
Have you not seen that trend of Furbies that are all misshapen and super long?
No, I don't like it. Please don't show me that.
No, I'm not going to pull up anything for you. You can look it up yourself on your own time. But if you want to look it up for
it's such a weird
for your fans
way
right now,
to talk on a podcast.
For your listeners and your subscribers, if you
want
to
know what on your own time, but you could look it up.
Look it up.
I do hate people telling each other to look things up.
If you didn't give me a headset, I'm not going to look up Furbies for you.
It's not that I denied you a headset. It's that I didn't have one set up. I had to set all the other stuff up. Nothing was set up.
It's unfortunate.
Sad.
What else is going on? What else is on your list?
We didn't talk about the shooting at the Airbnb downtown. Do you not care about that?
Not really, but also let's hear about it.
1 dead, 10 wounded at a...
That's a lot of people in an Airbnb.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think it's like one of these things where like a parent says, okay, I'll get you an Airbnb and you and your friends can hang out there for your birthday or whatever. But then 100 people show up.
And then someone had a gun.
And then somebody shoots at some of them. Can you imagine how wild that vibe must have been right before?
I bet it was a great time right before the gunshots.
Yeah.
And you know what? After those 11 people got out of there, including the body, they probably, 12 including the shooter, they probably kept partying.
Well, that's the thing, too, especially down there. Like, who even knows how long it would have taken police to get there? If anybody at the party would have even called the police, I wonder if they were all underage.
Also, whoever reserved the Airbnb, they're just going to get just plummeted in their score.
No, they'll be done
for any repairs.
Yeah, the renter will be done because I bet the renter was not there. I bet it was a kid's parent.
Oh, man.
Because this happens a lot with hotels and stuff.
They shouldn't do that.
I agree.
You ever just driving in your jalopy, just your piece of shit car?
Not mine.
Yeah.
My Mercury Grand Marquis.
That thing is falling apart, and it's your fault.
Runs like a dream.
Our grandparents took very good care of that car.
I'm still kind of coasting on some of that.
Yeah. Anyway, you ever just driving along in your piece of shit, and you get to like an intersection, like a stoplight, and then you see what looks like a 10-year-old driving an $80,000 like Suburban or something like that, or like a GMC Denali.
No, I think who makes the Denali? Is that GMC? Oh, I get GMC and
Yukon, I think.
Well, I think I think Yukon is a version
You
of.
see one of those broccoli-headed little fuckers with the gold chain, and they just think they're so cool in their $80,000 vehicle. And I remember my vehicle.
The broccoli thing is definitely a very specific vibe. Like if a dude's got like the curly like hair on top, but like in a fade, that kid's going to give you problems.
I just see packs of them at the gym, and then they take up the same machine or bench or whatever for roughly 45 minutes, and they're not even really doing anything. And I want to pick them up and throw them.
You should arm wrestle them
individually. No, I can't arm wrestle anybody anymore because I've seen too many videos of people snapping their humeruses.
You think that would be yours?
No, I think I would snap a humerus. Especially on one of those little fuckers.
One of them.
Those little broccoli
I think
boys.
that's maybe what they need. Set them straight.
I think I'd get sued.
Oh, well, that's definitely possible. They're litigious. They're all...
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all with Morgan and
that
Morgan,
would be
I
the
think.
situation there. And maybe it's just because I'm getting older, but that shit just doesn't fly in my head. You know, those little fucks walking around in circles thinking that they're hot shit. They don't know life.
Well, that's definitely you being older.
They don't know what it is. They don't know what I've done.
What have you done?
More than them.
That's for sure.
Unless they've graduated college. I haven't done that.
But up until then, I got them beat.
Up until that point.
I thought you graduated from that program. You just didn't.
No, I graduated from a program. Yes. I was a paramedic graduate, but it wasn't like a degree, you know?
Yeah.
And here we are. I'm about to work in 100-degree heat tomorrow.
It's supposed to be very dangerously hot this week. I wish you weren't working.
Well, luckily, I'll be off Friday and Monday and Tuesday and Saturday and Sunday. So if anyone has a way for me to make $1 in one of those days, you let me know. Because I sure won't be doing it where I'm making money currently.
Yeah, we need to do something.
About what?
I don't know, man. This economy's crazy.
I know. I can't keep living like this.
It's not sustainable.
I just want to be able to do anything that I want at any point in time and not have to worry about looking at my bank account. Is that too much to ask?
I think so, because I think we do too many things.
Well, I don't do that much.
It wouldn't be too much to ask if you were on disability and you lived in an old coal mine.
If I had known like 3 years ago when I was making way more money than I thought I was making because I was spending so much of it at the same time, exactly how much money I was making, I would have calmed down.
Well, sure.
I think I was working like half as much effort-wise, and I was making twice as much money, and I was just having a blast. But I really should have calmed it down a little bit.
Some people live like that. My buddy lives like that. Like sometimes he just doesn't even eat dinner.
Well, sometimes if it's too late, I'll just have some protein powder and go to bed.
I think you're eating too much protein powder.
I think that the soy is getting to my nips. My areolas are getting puffy.
You got puffy areolas?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
No, they're not.
It may be too late.
They're not really puffy.
At this point, where would you dig? Because if your areolas are puffy, that soy has already penetrated your immune system and you're fucked.
Why do I need to worry about soy penetrating my immune system?
Because you eat nothing but soy protein powder, and it's going to give you puffy areolas.
Yeah, I don't actually have that yet, but I was leading to it in a joke.
It's coming.
Well, I'd rather have puffy areolas and hard everything else than puffy everything else and hard areolas. You know what I'm saying?
Everything on me is puffy.
That's true. At least you're consistent. Know what I mean?
True.
What else we got over there?
I'm just trying to find the will to live.
Is that on your list?
Nope.
Oh. I feel like we digress a lot.
So let's talk about this for a second. In a situation What would have to be the case for you to rent your teenage child their own Airbnb to have a party in unsupervised?
I would have to make at least $300,000 a year just by myself.
Well, at that point, you would just have a property you could park them at. You could just say, go to the lake house and here's the Narcan.
Probably do that. Yeah. And also, I would have to just have a severe disconnect from the world around me and like a lack of concern for the safety of my child, which I think if I had a child, it would be the opposite. I have a very real fear that if I reproduce, I won't be a helicopter parent, but if anything bad falls upon that child, I might just flip the fuck out on somebody. And I don't want to go to jail because someone accidentally ran into my toddler and knocked him over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that just might happen. And I think that we are both doomed to, if we do have children, have just real psychopath children.
You and me?
Just energy
We were
monsters.
really bad.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be our penance, and we'll have to pay it.
I think we're too loving to really notice, though.
That they're going to be insane.
I worry about myself having kids because I won't be able to acknowledge that they can possibly do anything wrong. And I could probably intellectually support, no, you see, that means he's curious about blah, blah, blah.
I think that happened with us because our aunts
And our grandparents.
our uncles used to get in trouble with their spouses.
If they were to ever,
for a second that we were misbehaving in any way,
they almost got divorced. All of them.
Doghoused at the very least.
Yeah, we got called brats one time, and I'm surprised that guy's still around. If
One
it was
time,
up to me,
one time my
trial
uncle
by combat.
called me a little snot, and
Who?
there was no aunts around to see it. And I hold that too. I hold it.
You
with
hold
me.
on to that?
I carry it with me every day. And you know what? I was being a little snot.
You were.
In retrospect.
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
I was being a little shithead. You know?
Have we uncovered any more about you blanking out large segments of your childhood?
No, but I am going to try to do a timeline with my therapist.
A timeline?
Yeah,
What goes on the timeline?
Pretty much anything that I can remember.
6 a.m. Soy. 10 a.m. Soy.
Shut up. No, any significant life events that could have contributed to any anxiety or depression triggers that I have today. You know, not today, but in the world now.
In the present day.
Yes.
I think we all knew what you meant.
Okay. So that's going to happen. I told her jokingly I would prepare a slideshow, but I don't think anyone wants that.
No, I think she would enjoy it. I think it would be helpful to put faces to names.
Oh, man. That'd be a great thing, just to give a slideshow presentation.
Because I remember everything.
I don't see it. That's why I think that you didn't have it as hard as I did.
Well, we definitely respond to it differently. I feel like my responsibility was to notice and remember, and your responsibility was to be a kid and ignore how hard things were.
Well, you also started working harder earlier because I stole your spotlight 10 months after you were born. I don't think you would be as an accomplished musician today as you are if it weren't for me.
You think I'm accomplished?
I think that you are accomplished. I think you're a very talented person. And I don't think that you would have dedicated so much time and effort into learning as much as you've learned about music and education and people and art if it weren't for my big, crazy, lazy ass being brought into this world. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I don't feel like it was that I had to compete with you. I felt like it was that I didn't have a self-esteem and I had to have measurable proof that I was worth something.
But you see, I've never really had to do anything, and then people still love me.
Well, people still loved me.
I mean, sure. But we're not talking about you.
I wish we would. You don't remember the Power Ranger story we talked about?
Which one?
The one on this podcast we talked about the Power Ranger? You remember the Batman, though.
Yes, but what was the Power Ranger? You mean the fact that you wore Power Ranger gloves every day?
No, when that Power Ranger came to that party.
The fact that you wore Power Ranger gloves every single day for 4 years until they got so gross that they gave you gardening gloves instead? You talking about that?
Do you know how convenient it is to have a pair of gloves?
Well, I mean, you definitely never had dirty fingers. Meanwhile,
that was my I hate when my fingers are dirty.
Meanwhile, I had the dirtiest fingers probably.
You're still filthy. Oh,
I got
I'm
dirt under my
disgusted.
nails right now.
I'm thinking about in a pharmaceutical commercial where they zoom in on the germs.
You don't even got to zoom in.
Yeah, I can see your germs from here.
I got germs the size of Tic Tacs under my nails. I can see them. Orange Tic Tacs.
Oh,
Which means they really stand out in the vial, you know?
I hate that.
Big old fingernail germs.
Ugh.
But also, I haven't showered yet, and I worked earlier, so...
I tried to tell you to shower.
I know, but I still have to go to the gym, and I'm not going to shower and then go to the gym.
You should shower at the gym.
I'm going to shower right before bed, and I'm going to sleep naked.
Ooh.
Nothing better. Nothing like it.
I do like have clean panties on when I go to bed.
No, I'm just gonna raw dog that pillow.
Nope.
It's good.
Nope. Nope.
I do sleep with a pillow between my legs, so yeah. Which I recommend, or else your knees are gonna just knock together. You know?
Yeah.
You got knee knocks. Knocking the knees.
I usually don't need to do that because I have 3 big dogs. I just pick one.
You can literally just grab Isadora and shove her between your legs, and she'll probably be happy there.
Yeah, as long as I'm giving her scratches. Mm-hmm. She's so spoiled. It's so bad. I don't know what we're going to do.
Bitch.
It's really exhausting.
I don't know what to do about it.
I mean, I need to get up at 6 a.m. every day, and I need to walk her.
And then Oswald, he's a little nervous hippo, and he comes at you with his front paws like fists.
No, that's the thing. He likes to put his arms straight out, and he's got those crazy giant raptor claws. And
it hurts.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
That's why I just come straight down.
But
to
he's a
basement.
sweet baby around the house. He's easy to share a bed with. But the piglet is too big and too crazy, and I think she's bored because the boys are not as smart as her, so they're more complacent. Whereas she gets bored and she'll make your life hell.
I am worried about Lewis.
Why?
I saw Dash earlier. I saw his brother Dash earlier today.
Yeah.
And they're brothers and they're litter mates and they're the same age. And Dash is not aging visibly as much as Lewis. And I think it's because Lewis is stressed out by having his crazy siblings.
Oh, I don't think so. Dash has crazy siblings.
He's got that.
I think Lewis is healthier. They both have evidence of like benign fatty tumors.
I mean, who doesn't?
But Dash's are much more out of control. And Lewis has always eaten better food than Dash.
I got one on my hip. I got a fatty tumor on my
This
hip.
whole thing is a fatty tumor right here.
I knew that.
I'm smuggling a ham.
Who threw that ham at me?
Who threw that ham at me? That's a real story too.
Everyone knows that story, right?
I don't. My mom said that really happened at the Schnucks on South Grand.
Do you think it did really happen?
That the lady was trying to steal a ham and she dropped it and she said, "Who threw that ham at me?"
Yeah, actually, that seems that tracks.
I understand, given the history of the show, why people might think that's not a real story. But I think I do a lot of the fabricating of the stories. Crazy enough stuff happened to my mom that like she could just tell you a crazy story. She doesn't usually have to make one up, including who threw that ham at me.
It's a good one.
Do you let her take the ham at that point?
I would.
I'd say, ma'am, have a nice day.
If the ham is wrapped.
If the ham is still, if she unwrapped that ham though, bitch, you're going to jail.
If it was just an open, juicy, wet ham.
If you got a barren ham,
and it's just got little bits that were already on the tile. Just
if you're
stuck to
smuggling a naked ham,
and it's wet because all ham is wet.
Ham's wet.
Have you ever had ham that's not wet?
Don't eat dry ham.
Exactly. Unless you made it dry.
Unless you dried it
yourself.
Because you're in control of all the parameters in the drying process.
If you were
they make jerky out of ham?
If you were the dryer of the ham, then eat it.
Can they make jerky out of ham?
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Fuck.
What? What was that noise?
It was Emma Shear at Sheer Hair on Instagram.
What'd she got to say?
A guy hit me up on Facebook asking me who does my beard, and I referred him to her, but I don't actually know him.
Well, I hope you didn't just lead her to a shallow grave.
Well, no, I mean, he's going to the salon. She's not going to his trailer.
Well, I would hope not. Why does he have a trailer?
I don't know that he does. I just meant that that's not the situation you're picturing.
Is it Mitty?
No.
Thank goodness.
No. Let's not. It's like Beetlejuice. Let's not.
I've only said it twice, so I just won't say it again. That's fine. Where were we? We really digressed. We do it a lot.
Oh, man. We could start winding down, I think.
We weren't even beating around bushes this whole episode. We were just kind of like plowing past the bushes,
Oh, yeah, we hit a lot of things.
diving through the bush.
I always love to catch up with you.
Well, yeah.
And I really feel like this is a good outlet for you.
And I feel like there's been a lot that we haven't talked about. But
Like
at
what?
the same time, there's not really.
I've been really caught up in Ocean Gate, and I get caught up in local violent crime. Like a good friend of mine just got shot at. Somebody shot 19 bullets into her house,
Why?
hit one of her dogs.
Why?
Maybe they thought it was a different house.
Why?
Maybe they're trying to scare her away. I don't know. I'm not going to blast
Poor
her.
thing.
I know. She's going to be okay.
19 bullets.
19 bullets in the front of the house.
But
And,
why?
Nobody knows.
What neighborhood?
Cherokee.
Oh,
And one of her dogs got hit 3 times, but he's going to be okay.
3
He's
times.
going to be all right.
What kind of dog?
Pit bull.
Oh, poor dog.
And I just don't want that to happen, because here's my thing about St. Louis is a lot of people that are anti-crime are also anti a bunch of people, right? A lot of people that are really tough on crime are also like really exclusive with their neighborhoods and their culture, and they don't want to include immigrants or people of color or people of, on different spectrums, whether it be gender or sexuality or whatever. I'm not like that.
Right.
I want everyone to live here with the utmost freedom and prosperity, but I just want them not to shoot at the other people that are trying to do that same thing.
Right. Meanwhile, the Krinklemauers across the street just got Bermuda grass. And I'll be damned if I don't get Bermuda grass, because the Krinklemauers have Bermuda grass.
Where'd they get it? That's the thing. You just got to get their guide. That's the real way to stay ahead of that stuff.
I got an ag guy.
You got a grass guy?
I got an ag guy, agriculture.
You have an agriculture generalist?
I do. I have an ag guy.
Why hasn't he been out to look at my goddamn blue spruce that so desperately needs help?
Because I don't really know him. I'm just helping redo his deck.
You know an agriculture generalist because you're working on his deck.
Yes, but he's very successful.
Does he want to come look at my blue spruce?
I think that
I'll take him to the Golden Hoosier.
I think that if he came to this house or this neighborhood, he probably would have a panic attack.
This is what I'm talking
He's
about.
way out in a rich neighborhood.
See, so
They live
we've
in their own
done a
little
really
world.
good job of scaring away the closed-minded people. But the people that are still here need to not shoot at each other.
You know who else has done a good job at scaring away
And
the
I'm
close-minded people?
I'm not like a big anti-gun guy. People in my family have always owned guns, and I obviously, living in St. Louis and choosing to live in the city, it's, if you choose to protect yourself with a firearm, I totally understand the situation that makes you feel like you need to do that. I have felt like that before in my history, and I will again, I'm sure. However, in the case that you're not shooting at someone who is shooting at you first, I really wish people would quit shooting.
You know what? That reminds me of something real
Yes.
quick before we end for the day. There was a time, probably almost a decade ago, maybe like 8 years ago, where I broke up with somebody and they had a key to my apartment and I was not home.
Yeah.
And they went to my home and they destroyed pretty much literally everything that they could find that they had bought me. Which is a great way to go about it, because they bought it. Why not? But they did pour tiki torch fluid all over my mattress. I'm glad I got there when I did. But what they didn't know is that I had a pistol under my pillow because I was living in South City alone, and they pulled all my bed sheets off the bed, and so I went rifling through the bed sheets on the floor and pulled my pistol out because that's where it was, and they freaked out. They were like, "Oh," and I was like, "I'm not going to fucking shoot you. What do you think I am?" No. And I just went and I put it away. But then it became more violent and they bit me and I called the police because they weren't leaving and a lot of things happened there. And then they left and the police got there and I unloaded the pistol and left it on my bed. And I sat in a chair across the room from the bed and the cops came in the door. I left the door unlocked. They came in. And I said, "Hey, before you see it, I want you to know there's a gun on that bed and it's unloaded." And I sat there. And I was like, "I'm going to stay right here. There's a gun on that bed." And
Go ahead.
and they came in and they took it and they put it in a different room. And then I told them there's 2 more in that closet that I haven't touched. And they went and they unloaded those and put them in the other room. and then we just chatted for a bit about what happened because she wasn't there anymore. That person wasn't there anymore. And I was like, wait a minute, that's kind of fucked up. Like, that could have gone a very different direction. I think I handled it well, but like, I could have just left it all in the closet and not said a thing anyway.
I wouldn't have said anything. It's my goddamn home. This is like the thing with the raft. You're all like, I'm going to be funny.
You know what? I was a little bit drunk at the time. I went to a poker night.
Well, I'm glad you didn't shoot her then.
That's where I was when I found out that she was going to destroy my apartment.
Did somebody? She told you?
Huh?
Did she tell you she was going there?
Well, I broke up with her, and then I don't remember if she said she was going to go destroy my apartment or if she said something like, I still got apartment keys, motherfucker, or something like that.
And you're like, boys, cash me out.
Yeah, I
gotta go. You pick up the dice.
I basically said, do you think there's dice in poker?
I like to shoot dice because I'm a city dweller. If you want to play poker like
craps,
a Texan.
Jacob, if it was craps, I would have never went home. That's such a high intensity game.
That's my thing. Is I need to feel the adrenaline.
I've never played craps. It sounds fun.
My god! The best way to shoot craps is on a public bathroom floor.
It sounds nice.
And you eat chicken on the bone, and you leave the bones behind.
Either way, I'm glad that whole thing went the way that it did, because what if they just came in and I was like, wait, there's a gun, and then they just shot me? You know?
Have you ever shot craps with one hand and eaten a piece of delicious fried chicken with the other?
No, but I imagine if I were to do a similar thing, it would be a big floppy New York slice of pizza.
And before anyone says anything about that scenario, let me tell you, this is a true story.
You shot craps with chicken in your hand?
I was eating chicken.
Was this back in your drinking days?
It was still in my drinking days, but I wasn't drinking at the time.
Okay.
And I walked into a bathroom eating a piece of chicken.
Why would you walk in with chicken in your hand?
Because I had grabbed a piece of chicken. I was walking back to one room from another in a building full of rooms.
You never go into a bathroom with food in your hand.
I absolutely will eat a piece of chicken anywhere I stand. You can
pry
pry that chicken from my cold, dead hands.
If it's at your home, feel free to eat chicken while sitting on the toilet.
You know my favorite place to eat chicken? Windows down, summertime, driving. Chicken on the bone, and I throw it out the window because it's a chicken. It's biodegradable.
But then what if a dog eats the chicken bone and
that's a myth?
Breaks
you know what? My
dogs
eat chicken all the time.
That's not good for them.
They're not supposed to. I don't give it to them, but they find it.
Chicken bones will break and splinter.
That's just like the escalator is going to suck me up, and I'm
going
to die.
Can you afford a $3,000 vet bill?
I was afraid to have shoelaces.
Can you afford a $3,000 vet bill?
This is why we didn't want to learn how to tie our shoes. We were afraid to have shoelaces because of escalators.
You were afraid. You're still afraid of escalators.
Terrified. I don't like it. I don't like the sensation of I'm on the ground, but now it's
I wish that escalators were spongier because I would roll down a motherfucker.
I wish everything was spongier.
I just don't want to hit them corners on the escalator.
So I wouldn't have told the cops about the guns. I would have left them in the closet, especially if she didn't do anything in the closet. I'm glad you didn't shoot her. Well, I wonder if she really thought you were going to shoot her.
Her eyes got big.
But you're lucky she didn't find the gun before you got there.
Even though
I can't believe she didn't find the gun before you got there.
Even though my apartment was destroyed, I still wasn't really angry. I was just kind of like, oh, well, this is what I get for doing it the way that I did it and not making sure I had my keys first. Like, I was just like, oh, okay, well.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
that's a coping mechanism that you do that I think dates back to when we were young. You would go into this autopilot non-confrontation mode,
right? And then
you would either get red in the face and upset and have a fit, and you won't remember because you're in a rage, or you would disassociate and be like, whatever you say, I'm gonna avoid confrontation. And I don't think you personally, I don't think you're making memories when you're in that mode.
You know, in Bruce Almighty, when Jim Carrey is in traffic, and he's like, not during sweeps week, and he's just like revving his engine and spinning his wheel a bunch. I do that a lot.
You say not during sweeps week?
No, I scream and I put my car in neutral, and sometimes I'll just rev the engine and twist the wheel and thrash about because I can't do anything.
You know why I never wanted to drive a stick shift? Because I learned how to as a kid. Mm-hmm. Is because some people, when they're in neutral, they'll jiggle it back and forth like this.
Oh, I did all the time.
I would have fried a transmission doing that, or a gearbox, or whatever that is.
It won't fuck you up that bad. Everyone's
but it would be constant for me. I would.
no, because it's in
I
that,
couldn't
it's in that
help it.
neutral zone, and it allows the wiggle room to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 in reverse. It allows that. So to be in the middle and doing the wiggle, do the middle wiggle.
I think I would overdo it.
No.
I think I'd overdo the wiggle.
However, I mean, I did have that Ford Escort, in its later years.
R.I.P.
I don't know who owns that now.
I thought they totaled it.
No, I sold it. It got rear-ended in an ice storm. Someone slid into it and then kept driving while it was parked on the outside of my apartment. But I sold it like that. I sold it for like $300 because it was like, that's all it's worth now.
Yeah.
It was basically totaled anyway. And then that person sold it, and I don't know where it is anymore. But we both learned to drive stick in that car, and the clutch was going out. And if I had the AC on and I came to a stoplight, I would have to double pump the clutch, or else the car would die.
Double clutching, granny shifting.
I would have to double clutch and granny shift a little bit, and I would have to rev the engine to stay at a light to stay. With
You ever just want to dump 10 grand under the hood of a Honda?
I sometimes want to race for slips.
Oh God! If I could see a pink right now,
I could throw some pinks
I got a
down.
slip. I keep my slip out.
Oh, I brought this up at lunch earlier.
We're slipping, G.
I brought this up at lunch
I'll race
earlier.
for a slip right
But
now.
You know that song, the "It's been a long day."
Yeah.
Without you, that just reminds me of when Paul Walker died.
All about it when I see you again.
There are multiple generations that do not know what our generation experienced when that happened. When Paul Walker died, and you go to a shitty bar and see a bunch of grown men crying because a star in a car movie died. Like, Paul Walker died, and we went to the Kirkwood Mike Duffy's, and we saw grown men in their 20s sobbing and holding each other like children because Paul Walker died. And that's all I think about now whenever I hear that song. Everyone's like, oh, it's a good song. Oh, it'll make anyone emotional. It's like, no. It's kind of a booty song. But they put it in that Fast and Furious movie where they had to superimpose his face on because he was dead, and they couldn't finish it. And grown men were crying while we were drinking $4 You-Call-Its and fucking $5 pitchers.
When was the last time you had a $4 You Call It?
Oh man, I don't know. That was my nickname in college.
Guys, that's Jacob V Weekly. We'll be back every week, so we're keeping the hour kind of as tight as we can. We definitely are over an hour right now, but we love you. Patreon.com/Jacob V. Wave at him. Wave at him. Give him a wave. Caddyshack, New Hamlin, Illinois. JACOBVI.com. July 8th, off Broadway. No Antics merch giveaway. Be there. Don't miss that one.
Bye.
For the love of God.